So salsa dancing and the language of love and trust. I love using salsa dancing literally and as a metaphor for this topic. So salsa dance or any kind of dance, partner dancing really, I would say is the love language of intimacy, trust, and pleasure. So I want us to know that, or remember that salsa dancing is more than just a dance of love or this sexy Latino dance. It is about love, but it's more than that. It's more than fancy spins that we might see. It's more than a choreography, more than perfection, more than the performance side of things. And just like with spirituality, with our own self-healing journey, with sexuality, with this path of becoming this sovereign woman, this is also not about perfection. This is also not about a performance, right? Instead, it is about a flow and faith and trust and this dance of the feminine and the masculine. It's the dance between a man and a woman. And this is how, when we know how to walk into this dance with the feminine and the masculine within us as well, this is how we walk away, or I wouldn't want to say walk away, more dance with and meet with stress and the overwhelm and the procrastination. And instead we dance through life with trust and love. So salsa dancing or any kind of partner dancing is moving away from this idea of choreographies and generally what we see in social media, right? It's just become all about that now. And I want us to move away from this idea of performance, this idea of moving away from the fear of making mistakes, and instead move into the music, the rhythm of your heart, of your partner. And this is love. This is the dance of love. And I'm using salsa as this metaphor of this concept, the dance between the masculine and the feminine. So salsa, when I think of salsa dancing, it's one of my passions, is what brings, or any type of partner dancing, like tango, couldn't think of the word, tango or cha-cha-cha, any type of dancing where you have to meet with someone else. This is what brings intimacy if we're moving away from the performance side of things. Okay, we're moving away from intimacy, and sorry, we're moving into intimacy, and intimacy is not just about sex. Intimacy is connectivity, it's closeness, it's physical touch, it's eye gazing, it's surrendering into the arms of your lover, whether it's the lover within yourself or your partner. And it's about trust. It's about being vulnerable. Can you just be so vulnerable, even if it means opening your heart? And trusting. It's about passion, communication. It's trust, and trust is where we learn to listen. We listen to first ourselves, our needs, and what we're capable of, and then trusting the other person. If we don't trust ourselves and what we need, then we can't expect that from someone else. We can't expect someone to fulfill our own needs as well. And this is what I love about the dance salsa. As a woman, we're put in this position in the dance of needing to trust and surrender to the man. And when we do this without the perfection side of things, and instead we move into that trust, we move into vulnerability and into softness of the other person, we move into something very magical. And we create this beautiful dance, this dance of love, or we can create this beautiful dance of this salsa dancing. And actually, this is how Carlos and I met. And we were brought together through this language of love and dance and music. We met in Tulum, and he took me out salsa dancing. And it was from that moment, I just remember we just connected, we clicked. And then when I came back to Mexico to be with him for a few weeks, because we did long distance for a few months, I just remember being on the sand under the moonlight, and there was a Cuban salsa band playing behind us. And we were just dancing all night. And it really, yes, we talked, but it really brought this extra romance and passion and intimacy and connectiveness within our union. It was really beautiful. And it was from that moment, it was an intuitive thing that we just knew we had to be together. So we really were communicating with this other language of that love. It was just beautiful. So I just thought I'd share that with you. Let me know, actually, if you do love dancing, or if you do love salsa dancing as well, or any kind, or tell me what kind of partner dancing you love if you do. So as a woman, we need to follow his lead, okay, in this dance. We need to follow his lead, and we need to trust that he can direct me, he can direct you in the way that your body and your heart asks from you and asks from him. And we need to trust that he can hold you and he can lead you, not from his ego, but with direction, with a strong, confident direction. And this is the masculine. And then you just drop into his lead with trust and surrender. And then you allow him to lead your feminine further, so you can continue shining brighter than if you were solo. Not that you can't shine bright without someone, without a partner, but something magical does happen when there is a dance, metaphorically and literally. When you are in the arms of a lover. Now, if you're single, this doesn't mean you have to go, and I'm saying that we need to have someone in our life to fulfill us. No, I will never say that. But this love, this masculine, is also within you. This essence is also within you. So when you start to come into your feminine essence, what happens is you naturally, well, with practice too, you meet with the arms of your own lover and the arms of your own masculine. So let's go back into the dance of salsa. So when you lead him, allow him to lead you, you don't need to force anything, because he's allowing you to shine even brighter through his lead, through his direction. But he needs to tune also into that so intently. So that's his job. So then he knows where to guide you. And his core, either your partner's core in his masculine or the masculine within you, is strong, and his shoulders are strong. His presence is strong. He needs to do that in salsa. He needs to have that strong presence. He needs to have that posture. The thing is, we need to, as a woman, we have to let go and not be in control. I found this actually hard in the beginning as a samba dancer, which is a solo dance. You dance by yourself, and I love it. And it made me feel confident, courageous, and sexy and sensual. And what happened was I began to feel, yes, I felt powerful and independent, but then there was something resisting in me when I was dancing salsa. And I just thought in the beginning that it was because, oh, I'm an independent woman. I prefer to dance on my own. But when I really dug deep into this, it was not there was maybe a part of that, yes. And I was conditioning myself to think that that I'm more powerful when I'm on my own. But something happened and I realized I actually just wasn't trusting myself to be in the arms of someone else, to be in the arms of my lover. And so I wanted to be in control. And this is what happens when we go into a relationship as well. We want to be in control because we're not trusting ourselves. We're not trusting our heart to open. We're not trusting ourselves to surrender into their direction, into their lead. And also, I was afraid to be wrong as well. I was afraid of judgment or not being good enough in this dance. And I was afraid that the other person was going to judge me because I didn't have the steps correct. And that's another thing. We as women are always striving for this perfection. We're striving to be perfect before we can get into this wholesome, beautiful love, this relationship, or even into business, really, because we're afraid. We don't trust ourselves. And I realized this is what was happening when I was dancing salsa, actually. So I needed to be in control of the situations. And you know what happens? You know what happened when I needed to be in control, and what happens when we want to be in control, whether it's in our relationship or in business, let's say. We not only lose our feminine essence, this ability to know that we are supported by, we not only, let me say that again, we not only lose our feminine essence, but we also lose this support by the divine and our own hearts. And that shows up in our relationships. So when we're dancing salsa, let's say, it's not about perfecting the steps. So it's not about healing. I'm going to keep going back and forth from relationships to salsa dancing, and salsa dancing also being the metaphor for our relationship and for love. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to grow and to transform and shift. We need to do that. That's evolution. But not for the sake of perfection. We don't want to be striving for perfection. And then what happens is, what I found when I was wanting to be perfect at the steps, I could see Carlos, my partner, not trusting his own masculine because I wasn't surrendering. I wasn't dropping back into my feminine essence and just flowing with him. So he wasn't trusting his own masculine, his inner strength, his inner light to direct me. So my control meant he lost direction. He loses sight of his own ability and his inner strength to guide you. So what we need to do is we need to learn how to lean back into our feminine, into our flow, to relax a little, to let him lead, let him move you. And when we drop back, we drop into our feminine essence. And this is the essence of us women, where we feel most confident. And this is where we can move with integrity. This is where a woman feels at home with her body, and she receives easily, and she can tune then into her partner's cues by listening to her sensations, her intuition. She doesn't resist. This woman doesn't resist his lead or his direction. She just, she flows with it. And this is not a weakness, ladies. This is not a weakness. This is your strength. This is a strength because this is where you trust. And this is where you discover your knowing, and you know that you don't need to prove your worth, prove yourself, because you trust. And in this trust, you live in the moment. In this flow, you live in the moment. And this is where you also connect with this rhythm, this divine rhythm, this natural rhythm of you and your partner. And through this is where he guides you more fiercely. And through that, she becomes more magnetic, more beautiful, so effortlessly as he guides her in this dance. And her light shines brighter because of that. He shines his light like the sun in the sky, and then from that she glows more like the moon. So in Salsa he leads, but this does not mean that she is weak. When he leads, when your masculine leads, this does not mean you're weak. This is a strength. This is her strength. This is your strength, because she doesn't need to be in control. And as a dancer myself, I know that in dance, it is the one that follows. That the one who follows is the one in their power, because they must be intuitive. This is a strength. They must be intuitive and they must trust. So the leader or the man in Salsa has a powerful role of tuning into her energy. This is also a strength. He must tune into that. And if he doesn't, she actually stumbles. And that's happened to me many, many times dancing salsa. I've had men who just, they're very in there. They're not present. They're not tuning into me as a woman. And so they're stuck in their own way. And what happens is we as women stumble, we lose our balance. And this is why he has an important role of listening, tuning into her. He needs to do that, into her flow, into her energy. This is why intimacy is a magical dance between two hearts. And that's why sometimes when you dance with someone in salsa, it just doesn't click. So she listens to him and receives his cues, because he's the one directing. And she does this through her body, not her mind, her body. And that's why I say it's important to drop back. We don't thrive from our mind. We thrive in our body. And through that, she becomes radiant in her own self-expression. So her reaction, her expression, wherever she's moving to, informs his next move, and her creativity seduces and unleashes his passion. So you're both dancing and working together. You're not working against each other. And her intuition and her flowing energy is like a medicine to his lead, and he'll want to show it to you. He'll want to show that direction to you and please you. That's what I love about salsa. Wonder if this is resonating with you. Who here loves dancing with their partner, loves dancing salsa, give me a little like or a little heart to let me know. Yeah, so just to tie this all together. So salsa, just like life, just like sex and healing, it's not a performance. It's not pretending. It's not closing yourself up. It's not about control or perfectionism. We see this all the time in social media. It's not perfectionism. And what we see, this perfection, creates this illusion of what dance, of what salsa, of what love, of what relationships with ourself and with our partner really means. And we go into self-sabotage. And we think it's better to just not do it because it's hard, because we're afraid of the mistakes, we're afraid of the messiness. And this was happening to me. And so we go into control and we close our hearts up for the fear of what could happen, for the fear of unknown. And salsa dancing is unknown. It can lead you anywhere. But when you can move into this dance and you can breathe into it, breathe into your heart and drop into your body and trust yourself, trust your intuition. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's an easy thing, but it takes practice to just let go. And it takes practice to surrender. When I say surrender, I don't mean who cares. It's more about letting go of the outcome, letting go of this, letting go of needing to know what next. Or why is this happening? Or how do I do this? Or he's not doing it right. No, it's going with the flow. Connecting with your heart, going with all the mistakes, with the messiness, and being okay with it. Surrender and letting yourself just basking in this essence of allowing someone else to guide you as well. It's amazing. I love letting Carlos lead me, but he tunes into my intuition. That's important. And that's the dance that I'm talking about. And with everything, when you do all of this and you trust, we move into more trust, closeness, slowness, intimacy, listening and tuning into your body. And that's the dance between a man and a woman, between your feminine and masculine. That's the dance of love in life. This is the beauty of a union. It's coming together with reverence and grace and consciousness of yourself, awareness of yourself, of your body, your sensations, and how you move through that. And then with the other person, not moving from the ego or perfectionism or fear, as that's what causes disconnection and stress. Yeah, we've all been there. Don't we all want a life of flow and love and ease? And just start seeing that life is really a beautiful dance, a weaving of messiness and direction, love, and pain as well. And not knowing where the hell we're going next, but we have trust. We always have trust. And it's just beautiful, and it's worth it. It's worth every step you take in your dance. And it's baby steps. No one's perfect in the beginning. No one's perfect even when you see all these amazing spins. No one's perfect. And that's the beauty of life. Life is a dance. Life is salsa dancing, actually. I'm going to leave you there with that, with the idea that life is salsa dancing. And I will see you in a couple of days. I'll keep you posted for our 10-minute connection embodiment practice. So stay tuned, beautifuls. Thank you for being here. And as always, I love you. I love you, and I am very grateful. Mwah.